Coming up on WFT's First at 5, the state of Florida is continuing hurricane recovery relief efforts to impacted communities across the Gulf Coast.
And another kind of relief has just been approved for public service workers with student debt.
And a new grant is being allocated to support the future of Gainesville's public transport system. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Looking over the beautiful Paynes Prairie, the clear skies appear to be looking up, but the temperature seems to be going down. Fall-like weather has settled into North Florida with the coldest temperatures of the season so far. Welcome to WUFT's First at 5. I'm Nick Diaz.
And I'm Jesse Simmons. And it was in the middle 40s this morning, and it felt cool all day. WFT's Matthew Clark joins us now with more on the cold weather is beginning to shape up.
Yeah, when we woke up this morning, we saw the coldest temperatures of the season so far in the 40s. We have warmed up, though, just shy of 70 degrees. We're at 69 degrees right now. Feels like 67, getting some light breezy winds from the northeast around 8 miles per hour. Just a beautiful afternoon overlooking our campus cam right now. Beautiful day to go outside. Rest of our area, though, seeing some 70s in Ocala, 67 in Stark, and 67 in Lake City. Just a beautiful afternoon. Not really even a cloud in the sky. We're going to continue to be like that for the foreseeable future. Dew point, which is the measure of the moisture in the atmosphere, usually in the summer it's around 70, 75, really humid. Right now, though, we're about half of that, 37 degrees in Gainesville. That's why it's feeling so dry right now, because those dew points are lower. Feeling very beautiful outside right now. Heading into those evening hours, though, we're going to drop into the 40s pretty quickly once that sun sets.
This morning, President Biden announced millions of dollars in student debt to be relieved of public service workers. WFT's Madison Ginsburg has more on what this means for Florida borrowers.
Today, President Biden announced an additional $4.5 billion will be used to cancel student debt from public service borrowers. Through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, over 1 million public service workers will receive student debt cancellation. This statement is part of the Biden-Harris administration's efforts to restore the promise of forgiveness programs. According to the Department of Education, Florida is amongst one of the congressional districts to have the most amount of borrowers. Florida has an outstanding balance of over $4 million in student debt. Public servants who have been working for at least 10 years and made payments on their loans are entitled to the loan forgiveness. I spoke to Department of Education officials about the burden being lifted by going into the public service industry.
Well, today's action means we've now helped 55,000 public servants in Florida, and that makes it easier if you want to go into a public service career as a teacher or as a first responder to get that degree that you need and know that you won't be left with unaffordable debt.
Since taking office, Biden has canceled more than $175 billion of debt for nearly 5 million people. That's about 11% of all outstanding federal student loan debt. Following today's announcement, applicants are being emailed regarding this process and status on their account to receive forgiveness. Public servants can still apply for their loan forgiveness through the PSLF program and by visiting financialaid.gov. Live in the studio, Madison Ginsburg, WUFT News.
Gainesville Affordable Housing is making strides in light of the city's Connect Free Affordable Housing funding, which totals $1.5 million in available funds. Today in City Hall, housing project Jesse's Village came back requesting an increase in their award from last year's $32,000 to $87,000. Owned by the Hutchinson Foundation, developers estimate that this project over in East Gainesville by Hawthorne Road will cost about $3 million total. Construction is slated to begin in December of this year.
Following the detriments the Tampa Bay area has faced from Hurricanes Helene and Milton, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced today in Tampa that he'll be donating $1 million from the Florida Disaster Fund to support state organizations supporting local communities.
We're going to look to get this money out the door and in use so that people are able to benefit. But we've got a lot of charitable organizations that are on scene here in the state of Florida. They're doing good work, and all these resources that we're doing are going to be able to help them provide their services and support to Floridians in need.
Donation recipients included the Family Initiative, Meals on Wheels, Our Daily Bread on Bradenton, Better Together, and Greater Than the Storm.
The governor's donation follows his approval of over 3,600 soldier and airmen for emergency management and Hurricane Milton recovery in St. Augustine. The Florida National Guard has reported the rescue of 600 people and 71 animals. The clearing of over 2,500 miles of road and almost 6,000 cubic yards of debris, and the distribution of over 3 million support items, including ready-to-eat meals, water boxes, tarps, and ice bags. The Florida National Guard has received 258 missions so far.
On the beaches of St. Petersburg, restaurants are back on their feet following the destruction caused by Hurricanes Helene and most recently Milton. Little by little, beach businesses are opening their doors up to customers once again. For those that were able to open, the Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce gave reopening ceremonies to celebrate ribbon cuttings and all. Some of the businesses that were able to start back up include Rick's Reef, Sloppy Joe's Restaurant, St. Pete Pier, and Slice.
The Florida Department of Financial Services is hosting 3 new insurance villages in the Tampa Bay area, targeting areas most impacted by Helene and Milton. The 3 villages will open up to offer policyholders a unique chance to meet with their carriers. Officials say each village will launch on an opening day and operate 7 days a week. Each village will stay open as long as there's demand in each location. Policyholders should bring plenty of documentation, including a form of identification, proof of insurance, pictures of damage, and repair estimates. The villages will be located in Clearwater, Plant City, and Bradenton from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on opening dates, visit the Florida Disaster website.
Employed residents of Citrus and Levy County, whose jobs were negatively impacted by the lost Hurricanes Helene and Milton, now have access to business and employee support initiatives. Representatives from CareerSource Florida, the Florida Commerce, and America's SBDC Florida will partner with CareerSource Citrus Levy, Marion staff. They'll be based at the Citrus County Chamber of Commerce and the CareerSource CLM Levy County Career Center from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. this Saturday and Sunday. These teams will be able to support you if in need of disaster employment assistance, job search, and emergency bridge loans.
The City Commission authorized today $2 million from a Florida Department of Transportation grant to fund RTS operations. WUFT's Valentina Sandoval joins us live from City Hall to tell us more about it.
During a meeting earlier today, City Commissioners quickly and unanimously authorized a grant to expand RTS's operating budget. This comes after a year of cuts in funding and bus routes. The grant will help the transit system pay for drivers, increase salaries, and fuel for the next fiscal year. Leaders say this will create opportunities for route expansions, extra drivers, and keeping the buses running. City officials say this is only a piece of the necessary funds to sustain RTS, but a crucial one.
So I don't know that it will be the thing that tips us over to being able to either bring back a route or to double up a bus on a route, but it definitely is one of the pieces that we really rely on to sustain RTS.
Commissioners went on to share these grants can also help make up for the city's lost revenue, such as from Gainesville Regional Utilities and other incurred budget cuts for RTS. Some other projects for RTS include curb ramps and seats for improved accessibility, as well as a proposed bus stop in the east side of the city. Live from City Hall, Valentina Sandoval, WUFT News.
This morning, 4 Alachua County fire rescue units responded to a destructive fire in Alachua. 2 massive garbage trucks fully erupted into flames outside of a Waste Pro garbage center. Fire rescue officials say that luckily nobody was hurt in the fire.
Alachua County Police Department investigators were sent out to a car crash on US 441. The incident involved a 50-year-old motorcyclist and a pickup truck. Officials say the motorcyclist died due to the crash. They're still investigating the cause.
Get ready, Gators, because the University of Florida's 101st Annual Homecoming Parade kicks off tomorrow at noon. The greater Gainesville community will come together with UF organizations to show off their extravagant floats this year. Officials say the route has been adapted to account for the new speed tables on University Avenue. The new parade route will begin on 13th Street and Museum Road and will end at Bo Diddley Plaza on Main Street. We'll be hearing from notable figures surrounding the University of Florida community, including Mayor Harvey Ward, Provost Joseph Glover, and Parade Grand Marshal Stephanie Abrams. You can find the parade live at WUFT.org/homecoming.
Coming up on First at 5, the Florida Republican vote isn't all for the Republican vote this presidential election.
And the presidential election continues to heat up as each candidate aims to tip the scales in their favor.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Former Republican leaders in Florida are openly supporting Democratic presidential candidate Vice President Kamala Harris in her race to the White House. Some registered Republicans, including former Comptroller of Florida Bob Milligan and former Republican campaign operative Max Stepanovich, believe Kamala Harris is better suited as president. with Stepanovich saying he's appealing to Republicans who want what's best for the country, and Milligan saying Trump is unfit for the White House.
It's all about character as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I can't believe anybody would want to see him representing us as the President of the United States and the world leader. It's just unbelievable to me.
Milligan adds that objectively, regardless of political alignment, Harris is the better candidate solely based on quality of character.
As the election approaches, Attorney General Moody is taking legal action against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and its Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Moody claims that the department is refusing to verify Florida immigration records for Florida voter registration. The Attorney General details how the influx of immigration into the Sunshine State has potentially mixed non-citizens and citizens in Florida's voter registration count. The state is requesting a response from DHS on the refusal to provide these records.
UF's annual Paper Airplane Charity Challenge between the Colleges of Health and Human Performance and Journalism and Communications took place this morning. The two schools went head-to-head at the Weimer Hall Atrium to compete for the most creative and longest distance paper planes. The CJC's Erica Ford came out on top in longest distance, while the HHP's Dr. Rachel Fu won the most creative category. The CJC was crowned the victor based on their school's overwhelming participant numbers. The proceeds made from the entry fees have totaled over $200. All earnings go towards the UF campaign for charities, and donations can still be made through United Way.
We woke up this morning in the 40s, and we're going to see similar temperatures tomorrow when we wake up. How long these are going to last when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Let me tell you, it was cold this morning when we woke up with low temps in the 40s here in Gainesville. And look at this, 37 in Lake City. If you were out and about this morning, it was really cold. Going to have similar temperatures tomorrow when we wake up. We have heated up this afternoon though, 68 degrees in Gainesville, 70 in Ocala, and 67 in Stark. It is a beautiful afternoon out there. It's dry, there's cool air. It really feels like fall right now. And over the campus cam, it just shows how our Thursday afternoon is shaping up. Feels like 67 degrees, getting some winds from the northeast around 9 miles per hour, keeping us even cooler than that temperature actually says. When the sun sets tonight though, it's going to be really cold as it heads into the overnight hours, dropping from the 60s into the 40s as we head into like 2 a.m., around 4 a.m. And when you wake up in the morning, we're going to be seeing those 40s again. Still going to be really cold tomorrow morning when you're waking up on your commute to work. I was in a hoodie this morning and sweatpants on my way into class this morning. 48 degrees in Gainesville when you wake up, 45 in High Springs, and 44 up in Live Oak. These temperatures are not going to last forever though, so enjoy it while we still have it. High pressure system is over pretty much the Mideast right now, as it's bringing in some colder, drier air from the north. We do have it kind of lingering overhead, very strong area of high pressure, which is going to keep us clear and dry for the next couple of days into next week. It lingers around for a long time, which is great for us, keeping those clouds away and keeping those rain chances very low. Homecoming parade tomorrow though, hardly a cloud in the sky. Again, going to be a very similar day today with the blue skies, temperatures around 73 during the middle of our homecoming day parade. It's going to be another beautiful day. And then on Saturday, very similar to today and tomorrow, still going to be in the 70s, going to be warming up just shy of 80 degrees on around 3:30, but we're still going to be waking up in the 60s before tapering off into the upper 60s around game time as it heads into the after post game. Weekend temperatures are again very nice day out. Very beautiful weekend. We've been waiting for a weekend and a string full of these really nice weather days for several weeks now. 77 degrees as a high on Saturday and 79 as a high on Sunday. Going to be very sunny, just a couple stringing clouds along. And for the most part, it's going to be beautiful out there. Tropical outlook, we are still keeping an eye on two systems out here. Both of these have a 30% chance to develop over the next couple of days. Going to be keeping an eye on that. As long as that high pressure system is still overhead though, we should be good. 7-day outlook though, we do get into the 80s again as we head into next week, but it's just going to be sunny and very nice out.
Coming up in sports, we've got a full slate of Gator sports throughout the weekend, and a special group is making their 40-year reunion in the Swamp. Plus, high school sports are coming in hot with the postseason rapidly approaching for multiple sports. That and more coming up next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back into sports. I'm Ethan Eibe. It's a reunion for the ages, literally. Gators football will be hosting a very special team during homecoming week against Kentucky on Saturday. It's a 40-year reunion, to be exact, of the 1984 Gator football class who captured an SEC title after a 1-1-1 record turned into a 9-1-1 record, capped off with a win against, you guessed it, the Kentucky Wildcats. Furthermore, the past is being connected with the present as the alumni will take part in Gator Walk with Billy Napier's team prior to Saturday's game in the Swamp. To catch a glimpse of this Gator connection, Gator Walk will take place at 5:30 p.m. on the north side of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. If you happen to find yourself in Gainesville before homecoming weekend, Gator Soccer hosts their second home match of the week on Friday at the Diaz. Florida will be back on the pitch at 3:30 against an SEC opponent in the Vanderbilt Commodores. After a scoreless tie with Georgia moved them to 4-4-6 on the season, the Gators have an even tougher challenge against the 7-2-6 Commodores. Florida will lean on the foot of freshman forward Viera Bloom, who leads the way with 7 goals. Gator volleyball hits the road this weekend for back-to-back road games at Texas A&M and LSU. Florida enters with an 11-5 overall record and is 2-3 in conference play. After opening SEC play 3 weeks ago with a win over Oklahoma, the Gators have lost 3 of their last 4 matches. The Gators have received a boost over their last 7 games with the return of star setter Alexis Stuckey, who missed most of last season with a torn ACL. We will see if Stuckey and her Gators can get it done Friday in College Station, where the match begins at 9 p.m. It's a busy day in both football and volleyball for Oak Hall, and WUFT's Daniel Haviv visited the Eagles earlier today to give us more insight on the action.
Finally, some beautiful weather here in Gainesville, just in time for Thursday night lights and girls high school volleyball. Now we start with football. The 4-3 Oak Hall Eagles look to make it 3 straight against the undefeated St. Joseph's Academy Flashes tonight.
Oak Hall has had a solid season so far, with Dakota Brower at quarterback playing excellent football and the team all around meshing together. However, the Eagles have a tough task at hand, as the Flashes are 7-0 coming into tonight's game. They've won by 20 or more points in every single one of their games this season. Now, this matchup tonight will be a part of the second to last week of regular season high school football.
Now, kickoff for tonight's football game is slated for 7 p.m. right here at Oak Hall. Now, moving to girls volleyball, in the Division 2A District 1 District Finals, Oak Hall is facing off with PK Young at home.
The Eagles are an impressive 15-2 on the season. They currently sit on a 7-game winning streak. The Blue Wave, on the other hand, are 4-18 and have struggled all season long. Oak Hall shouldn't struggle much tonight, as they've been on a roll to close out the regular season, and they've already beaten PK Young twice this season.
The winner of tonight's game will qualify for the 2A state playoffs. This big-time matchup is slated to start at 6 p.m. tonight. Reporting from Oak Hall, Daniel Haviv, WUFT Sports.
Following the Eagles' busy day, let's take a look at a few other football and volleyball games in the area. Countryside Christian looks to bounce back from a loss at home tonight against the St. John Lutheran Saints at 7 o'clock. Not long after that, at 7:30, Dixie County is also looking to get in their groove and break a 3-game losing skid as they host the Hamilton County Trojans at home. Shifting over to the net with volleyball districts continuing today, 2-seed and possible favorite Santa Fe host the Crystal River Pirates in a 4A district matchup at 6 o'clock. The 7 o'clock slate starts with a 5A district face-off between 3-seed Gainesville and the Lecanto Panthers, followed up with a must-watch match featuring the 23-3 Brantford Bucks and 16-8 Union County. And sure, it might be a parade of sports this weekend, but we've got our eye on another parade this weekend. Right, guys?
The Kings and Queens will definitely be moving it, isn't that right, Nick?
Well, Jesse, I'm sure they're here just to watch the Florida Gators get it done on Saturday. Matthew, one last check on the weather?
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful Friday for that parade, with highs reaching up into the upper 70s and waking up in the 40s still. Those 40s aren't going to last forever, though, as we start to slowly heat up as we head into Saturday and Sunday, with highs just reaching shy of the 80s as we head into Monday and into next week, though. Clear skies are going to be overhead, sunny skies as well. We're still going to be waking up for the most part in the 60s, though, as long as that high pressure system is overhead, with highs reaching into the lower 80s. It's going to be a beautiful handful of days over the next 7 days.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
Well, your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.